Hi everyone, welcome to SOCI 1010 section W02. I'm your instructor, Gary Heidinger. I am delighted that you have enrolled in the course. I hope that you will find it to be an exciting and rewarding experience. If you haven't done so, just as soon as you possibly can, go onto Momentum D2L and access the course syllabus. One of the keys for doing well in this class is a thorough knowledge of the syllabus. Once you get a copy of it or access it, read it thoroughly. I know it's rather lengthy, but I've packed it with information. I'm hoping that it will answer 99.9% of the questions you might have about the course itself. On the first page, there's some basic information about me, specifically how you can make contact with me should you have questions or concerns during the course of the semester. On the other hand, another way that you can be successful in this class, another key, is to pay attention to some information that is located on the fourth page of the syllabus. Specifically, what research indicates leads to student success in online classes. Now go through these 5 carefully. You wouldn't be in college if you didn't have specific goals in mind. Emphasize those goals. Anytime you get down or uncertain, go back to those goals. Likewise, remember to do well in this class, and for that matter any collegiate level class, but especially courses in the humanities and the social science. You've got to be able to read effectively. Now, I know all of you know how to read, but you want to work on reading literally actively. And what I mean by that is you read for retention. Now, once you get in the textbook, you'll notice it's set up like most college level textbooks. You'll have major sections, and then within those sections there'll be subsections, and within some of those subsections there may be even smaller sections. Once you read a section, be it one page or many pages, stop. Ask yourself a simple question. What did I just read? If you are not reading actively, you're going to be just like I was an undergraduate. You're going to be scratching your head and saying, what? So be sure to stop frequently. Ask yourself what you just read. If it doesn't make sense, reread it a second, a third, even a fourth time if you have to. Likewise, get underway now. Don't put anything off until the last minute. All of you have very, very active lives, and it's easy to procrastinate, and that's a deadly sin in any course, especially a web-based course. So I would encourage you all to get started right now. Furthermore, set aside times designated for study for this class. Inform your family that this is my study time, and stick with that schedule. Because once again, life can throw us a bunch of ringers and we never know quite what to expect. So structure your approach where you've got specific times set aside for studying. And above all, let me know if you have any questions or concerns about anything associated with the course. Now, you've all heard the old statement, the only silly question is the one you don't ask. Well, in part, some of the questions I do get from students, it's clear to me they haven't read the syllabus. And I end up basically repeating what you find in the syllabus. So read through the syllabus. Once you've done that, once you get underway studying, then you start encountering problems. That's what I'm here for. You're not bothering me. You all, to one degree or the other, are paying my salary. So I want to help you in any way that I can. It is not my job to give you grief. If you're like me, you probably have lots and lots of people in your life that enjoy giving you grief. And get this, you don't have to pay them for the privilege. They just delight in, again, making your life miserable. That's not me. I'm your instructor. I'm here to assist you, to help you. Now, once you get into the syllabus, you'll notice again that there is a required textbook. It's highlighted over on the 5th page of the syllabus. It's by James Henslin. It's Essentials of Sociology, a Down-to-Earth Approach. You want the most recent edition, the 13th. Now, there are older editions out there which can work, but I want you to understand that the review guides that I've provided for you on Momentum D2L are all geared to the 13th edition of the book. So any page references I make are going to go with 13th edition. And if you use an older edition, they're not always going to match up. Please be alerted to that. Check different sources for the textbook. Online sources are good. You may even choose to rent a book, but a book is essential. It's the focal point of the course. I build around it. I utilize it heavily. I test from it as well. Now, there's also information you'll notice on the same page that relates to the grading and evaluation system. Down at the bottom of the 5th page, and this continues on over to the 6th page as well, I've detailed in, again, rather specifically, I hope, what I'm going to expect of you. There are 3 exams that you will be required to complete during the course of the semester. In addition to the 3 exams, there is a project. And again, I detail this in the syllabus, particularly on pages 6 and 7. I specify again, if you'll notice on page 7, page 6, exactly what's going to be included in the 3 exams. Now, also, I pointed out on the same page, and read through this rather carefully, that you'll be taking your exams at testing centers. I've specified again the Oak Ridge Branch campus, the Roane County campus, the Campbell County campus, the Cumberland County campus. Now, I realize some of you are expecting all evaluation devices to be, again, presented to you online. I'm not the only person here at Roane State that teaches an online course that requires students to come into the testing center. As a matter of fact, this is a commonly used practice in colleges and universities all over the United States. And I know it's an inconvenience, but as I've specified in the syllabus, you only have to make 3 trips. And if you'll notice, again, over on the 6th page, there are specific times during which you can take the 3 course exams. For example, the first one, you can take it anytime between September the 5th and September the 29th. So you pick, you choose. You go to the testing center and check in with the proctor on duty. You don't have to call a proctor ahead of time. You don't have to call me to set up an appointment. You just show up during the hours of operation, and I've included information in the syllabus as to how you can go on to the Roane State webpage and access the hours and days of operation of the testing centers. They all operate under slightly different arrangements, so kind of bear that in mind as well. Furthermore, you want to show up at least an hour before closing time, preferably earlier, because if you're later than 45 minutes before closing time, they will not allow you to take the exam. The exams are going to be paper-based, just like you had in high school, just like you've had in face-to-face college-type classes. And I've explained in some detail in the syllabus that the first 2 exams will consist of discussion questions, 2 of them, and probably 25, 26 multiple-choice questions. And on all 3 exams, there'll be at least 2, probably 3, extra credit questions. Now, these extra credit questions will be in the form of multiple choice questions. Now, the 3rd exam, as I've specified in the syllabus, once you read the syllabus, you'll note this, is going to be different from the first 2 in that there are no discussion questions, only multiple choice questions. Okay? Now, in addition, you will note over on the 7th page of the syllabus, there is what I call an action learning project, course project. I've explained in detail what I'm looking for. Basically, what I'd like for you to do is to apply your sociological knowledge, your insights, to a Hollywood film. And I've listed down at the bottom of the 7th page and over on to the 8th page a number of films. Pick one of these. If you go through the list and you go, boring, there's nothing there that really turns me on, let me know. 99.9% of the time, I'm going to most likely approve the film that you select. Now, I do not want you to employ any reviews. I want this from you. I want your particular sociological interpretation of the film. If you want to use first person in your write-up, I have absolutely no problem with that whatsoever. If you want to say, I feel this way, I thought this, I dislike this, that's okay. I'm really interested, and it is truly a reaction type project. Tell me why, and then explain in detail why you feel the way you do. So I've noted that you might want to, a particular approach could be apply one or all three of the sociological perspectives we're going to be discussing during the course of the semester. On the other hand, there may be certain sociological concepts you saw come alive in the film that you selected. I'm interested in what you think. That's the important point. So if you're comfortable with that, if you have any questions that crop up with respect to, again, what I'm looking for, don't hesitate to let me know. Now, if you will note, over on the 9th page of the syllabus, and I've had some reference to some of the information here earlier on in the semester, I lay out in detail kind of what the course is all about in the form of units. Now, for example, the first exam will cover information in units 1 and 2. Unit 1 is kind of an introduction to sociology. What's sociology all about? Okay. Unit 2 is an analysis of culture. So the first exam will include information in those 2 units. Now, if you'll notice, and again, I'm over on the 9th page of the syllabus, I've kind of highlighted what you're supposed to do. Okay? So if you're wondering, well, how do I go about this? What exactly am I supposed to do? Well, first and foremost, in Unit 1, you're going to read Chapter 1. That's your first assignment. You'll read the entire chapter. Once you've completed the chapter, pretty comfortable with its content, then I'm going to expect you to watch the associated video lessons. Okay? And I want you to link what you, again, see, witness in those video lessons to the content of the first chapter. Now, once you get comfortable with the information, then I'm going to suggest, if you'll go over to the next page of your syllabus, this is page 10, then you're going to do the same thing with Unit 2. You're going to read textbook Chapter 2, and then you're going to watch the associated video lessons. Now, if you'll notice, text readings and video lessons associated with Units 1 and 2, along with related information in Study Guide 1. Now, if you're scratching your head saying, Study Guide 1? Where's that? It's located on Momentum D2L. So what you're going to do for your first exam is incorporate chapters 1 and 2 in the text, video lessons associated with Unit 1 and Unit 2, and you're going to relate all this to Study Guide 1. My suggestion would be, as you prepare for the first exam, as well as the second and third exam, go ahead and go through the study guide first. Then read the associated textbook chapter. Then watch the videos. And as you're reading through, again, the assigned textbook chapters and watching the associated videos, link those to the study guide. Now you'll notice also in terms of helping you prepare for each of the exams, I've given you 3 review guides. Review guide 1 goes with the first exam, covering again units 1 and 2. So let me just repeat. Start off again using your study guides. Read the assigned chapters with respect to the units that will be included on a specific exam. Then watch the associated videos. Now some people watch the videos and not even read the text, and rarely if ever take what they see in the videos and relate it in any form or fashion to the accompanying study guide. Don't do that. That's again a recipe for disaster. Combine the 3. The textbook chapter assignments, the associated video lessons, and the appropriate study guide. Now, sociology is really the study of what you and I largely take for granted. It requires some adjustment because you and I grew up in a society where we're reminded every day of our lives, whether someone succeeds or fails, it's due to that person's particular or personal characteristics. Now, bear in mind, sociology asks you to look at the big picture, to recognize that the social relationships you have, the little social niches that you occupy in everyday life, such as your age, your gender, your social class, all of these can open doors of opportunity and sometimes close doors of opportunity. Now, if you keep that in mind, and you also recognize the fact that much of our behavior is marked by patterns or regularities. Sometimes these are obvious. We have to learn them in a formalized way. In other instances, we take them very much for granted. We pick them up so early in our lives that we don't think that much about them as such. Now, if you can keep those 2 points locked firmly in the back of your mind, okay, you're going to look at the bigger picture. You're going to see how the larger social world impacts your life. And you want to start looking for patterned regularities. I've got one, I'll mention it in a video lesson. Is there a patterned response to this greeting from a friend or an associate? Hi, how you doing? How many of you go into massive detail in terms of responding to such a question? Or are you like me? Is there that patterned response? Fine, how are you? Now in the back of your mind, you may not care how this person feels, but that's the patterned response. On the other hand, patterns can be elaborate. If any of you, again, remember getting your driver's license, you had to learn established patterns. We call them the rules of the road. Now the other thing I hope you'll lock in the back of your mind is, although much of our behavior is patterned and we are constantly being influenced by larger social factors afoot, these things are constantly changing in both direct and indirect ways. It's hard for me. I'm old enough. I'm ancient. I'm an artifact. I remember the days before cell phones. I remember days before computers. Most of you who are younger don't. It's just become an established part of your life. I've seen dramatic changes that have occurred in society as a result of the introduction of these 2 remarkable technological devices. So sociology is really an elaborate study of who are we, rather than looking inside, crawling inside our brain and trying to see what makes us tick. Sociology asks us to look at how the larger social environment, the larger social world around us impacts our lives. So again, welcome aboard. As I said earlier, I hope that you will find this course exciting and rewarding. I hope it proves to be challenging as well. Please let me know at any time during the course of the semester if you have questions. Now, as I've noted in the syllabus, once you complete an exam, give me a few days. I most likely won't collect exams until the last test day. I'll grade them as quickly as I can, and then I'll notify you by email over Momentum D2L as to your scores. But again, please let me know. And once again, I realize I'm repeating myself, but welcome aboard.